This is a story about a story of a story told by a storyteller. This picture story, however, will cover the past, present, and future in the order of real occurrences. The story is about tracing a transatlantic slave ship voyage from Elmina Castle, Gold Coast, Ghana, West Africa, to Charleston, South Carolina, U.S. America. What I want to do will be to film a simple docu-biodrama about the photographer's activities on the task of retracing a slave ship riding a sea cruise from Elmina Castle, Ghana, West Africa, to Charleston, South Carolina. The idea is to follow the route taken by those slave ships back in time to this day and time, whether riding a freighter, cargo, or cruise ship liner company boat from Ghana, West Africa to Charleston, South Carolina will be the task in making this ideal real. The idea of riding a seafaring ship from West Africa to Charleston, South Carolina, across the deep Atlantic Ocean, retracing routes of the infamous transatlantic slave trade route, that middle passage in history is an idea, it's a thought, it's a challenge, a task, and most definitely a transformative moment that is a part of the to be continued quest for ongoing knowledge in our stories and studies of Mother Africa. For Africans living in America, USA, in this particular time and place, this is what we must become knowledgeable of: connection, our history, past, present, future, and importantly, experience that history in real time by doing it. So we must carry out the task: research books, maps, charts, databases, logistics, travel agencies, tickets, airport, landings, and takeoff will be only a small part of the story. The important information of getting authentic documentation from the transatlantic slave trade database is the spark that started this search of past and present. Because, well, it was because I remember while looking at a chart in the Transatlantic Slave Trade Atlas book that it occurred to me. And there it was, an illustration on the subject showing departing ships leaving Elmina Castle, Ghana, arriving in Charleston, South Carolina. That is it. It was. I had been to both places. My father was born in Charleston, South Carolina, and could speak in the tongues of Geechee Gullah dialect. I was born and raised in the capital city, Columbia. So growing up in the Palmetto State, I visited Charleston many times and was very aware of the historical nature of the city. Now, fast forward to Africa. But it was while I was in Ghana, West Africa, where I had the opportunity as a student to study in an international study abroad program at the University of Ghana, Legon. And while doing a pivotal field trip to Elmina Castle, seeing the slave dungeons and the infamous door of no return was like seeing the mystical light. Now also remember, looking at this vital information in the Transatlantic Slave Trade Atlas, the chart showing the arrow, the path, and route from which we came, and a moment of clarity came over me. There was a story. There was the connection. We came by sea ships over the waters. We go back, return by airships over the same body of earth waters. All along in time, we are connecting. The sail ships where we as Black people, the ancestors, came by way of. More than anything else, I want to expose to people, a Black people, and to all people, the rich legacy and history of an enduring nature of knowledge that's in us. Our ancestors' life, the women whose womb we all came through into the world and into this life. this connection of Africa with this knowledge of knowing your path from whence you came. In making this connection, we realize that the ancestors are us many generations later in this only 500-year saga. We are the embodiment of them, fearless, noble, brave, strong, true genius, and the carriers of the seed of our human and worldly life. We came by sail ships and will now return and make the journey by ocean-going seafaring cruise ships to discover and know who we are.